What's up, everybody? King of Fomo here, coming at you with your daily crypto update. Today, we're going to be talking about crypto regulations. I think within the next 5 to 10 years, the crypto space is going to be completely different than it is right now. So we're going to talk about how that's going to affect the price of these coins. There's some good news to come out of this, and some of my fears for crypto in general looking out into the future. So this comes with two bits of news that we're going to talk about here right today. So the first bit of news is the Canadian crypto exchanges have began to enforce annual net buy limits on the majority of cryptocurrencies. So this is a pretty big deal. Now, Canada is a pretty big country, and I believe that once large countries begin to regulate crypto and begin to come out with their own rules, a lot of other countries might just follow suit and do similar, if not the exact same thing. So even if you don't live in Canada, this could apply to you sometime within the next, like I said, 5 to 10 years. So let's read through this news, and we'll talk about kind of these points that are listed here on my sticky note. But let's read the main points right here. So first of all, this whole limit, it's measures designed to cap the annual buy limit for crypto assets at 30,000 Canadian dollars, which is like 23,000 US dollars. So they're essentially stopping people from FOMOing into all kinds of not just meme coins and scam coins and crap coins, but basically all of crypto. And we'll talk about that next. So what cryptos do they mean? What are they limiting you from buying? So let's take a look at that. Now, the good news is you're not going to be limited from buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or Bitcoin Cash. You can buy as much of that as you want if you live in Canada. However, there are limits on every single other cryptocurrency. You cannot buy more than $30,000 worth of any other cryptocurrency. So this applies to residents in the provinces listed right here. I'm not going to read them all. New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, etc., in Canada, including Ontario, which is a pretty large place in itself. And that's not to say that other areas in Canada won't be affected by this in the future. They might also follow suit. Like I said, this doesn't just apply to Canadians. This applies to everyone as other countries are looking at this and seeing how this performs. According to the table by BitBuy, the $30,000 Canadian dollar purchase limits will apply to individuals who qualify as retail investors, while eligible investors, quote unquote, will have a purchase limit of 100,000 Canadian dollars, and those who are qualified as accredited investors will not be subject to any purchase limits. Now, the majority of everyone is going to be considered a retail investor. To be any of these other, eligible or accredited investors, you have to have multiple millions of dollars, and you might have to have your own company and follow a lot of other rules. So let's break this down. First of all, the first thing I want to talk about is why these 4 coins right here. Why Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash? Now, obviously, I understand Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are the 2 largest cryptocurrencies by far. And Ethereum is, poised in place to take over at the #1 spot, like I mentioned in my last video, for, cryptocurrency. But the other 2 coins are a little confusing. So we have we have Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. Those 2 coins honestly make me seriously think that they came out with this regulation, this bill, whatever they passed, at least 4 years ago before they implemented it. Because there's been lots of other cryptos that are pretty legitimate that have since gone up significantly and people are interested in much more than Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash and have more potential than Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. Let's just take a look at those 2 cryptos right now. So Bitcoin, the point that I want to bring up is all-time high to right now. So right now, the majority of cryptos are down about 86% overall. That includes all of the altcoins. Bitcoin and Ethereum obviously are holding out a little bit better. Bitcoin down 69% from its all-time high. But we take a look at Litecoin here. Litecoin, it fits, that metric that I talked about before, down about 86%. And Bitcoin Cash, this one's kind of a big giant question mark. This one's down 96%, which is significantly more than most of of the other altcoins. So what they're trying to do, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, is protect investors from losing all their money. And if a coin goes down 96%, I don't really think it belongs in that top 4, accredited crypto list that you can buy an unlimited amount for a coin that drops 96%. And now, like I said, that's why I said I'm estimating maybe 4 years ago when Bitcoin Cash was, in the top 10 spots of crypto. That's probably when they looked at crypto and said, okay, let's just pick these 4. And then, laws take a long time to pass, and eventually we're here right now with some of these outdated cryptos being the ones that you're allowed to purchase an unlimited amount for. So hopefully Canada and other countries, if they do decide to implement something like this, which I think is highly possible for many, many places, including the United States, I really do hope that they get people who are smart enough to understand, there's a lot of cryptos that can be fairly safe and have a very high market cap, and people are going to be interested in, as opposed to, what I think they're doing I know they're trying to avoid people from buying scam coins. All right. So, some other things to note here. These are some things that need clarification. They don't really talk about what the penalties are. So this is Ontario's version. The OSC, Ontario Securities Commission, is basically the SEC of Canada, for those of you who are living in the United States. So what are they going to do if you decide to break these rules and you buy more than $30,000 worth of crypto? Because it's probably going to be very easy to exceed that limit. So what they've done is the Canadian exchanges, as well as Crypto.com, and I'm assuming most of the other exchanges will follow suit with this in the next couple of weeks, have an actual limit for all Canadian accounts, and they have it set up as to where you are not going to be allowed to purchase $30,000 more of any other coin. But there's going to be non-KYC exchanges like KuCoin and many, many others, or many, many other on-ramps for crypto, and just ways to use your debit card to buy crypto, where you can definitely exceed that limit. Because all these companies, they'll probably be communicating with each other somehow, but that's another point. Your privacy is going to be severely violated from this, because all these crypto companies are kind of forced to share information about each account and each account holder about what they have altogether. So that's needs some clarification. What are going to be the penalties for the people that do decide to skirt around these rules? And the second thing is, does crypto to crypto count as buying or selling? So when you buy Bitcoin and you exchange it for Shiba Inu, does that count for your $30,000, or can you just buy some more Bitcoin and exchange it again on a different exchange? So that also needs clarification. I don't understand what they mean by that. The next point that we can talk about is this basically massively limits the average person. Now, again, I know that you might be tuning out because you're saying this, I'm not Canadian, this doesn't matter to me, but we'll get to that in a second. I highly think crypto is going to be severely regulated in the next 5 to 10 years. So something like this will apply to everyone in the future. But what this means is the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. So what they talked about, this bottom portion right here is, if you're essentially a millionaire, you can do whatever you want with your money. But if you're not, then you're too dumb to really figure it out. So you can't do whatever you want with your money. That's pretty much what Canada is saying. The government is protecting your money away from you. So it's stopping people, which is, so many people got rich and got extremely successful from crypto because they had the freedom to do what they wanted with their money. And at this point right now in Canada, you're not allowed to do that. You're like, if you do not have $1 million plus, you are incapable of purchasing these other cryptos because they believe that you're not smart enough, and they believe that you're going to lose your money, essentially. This rule is great for the people who are too dumb to do their own research and literally put life savings and life-changing amounts into garbage coins that end up failing. This is a great rule for them. But the majority of people are not that dumb, and the majority of people will do their research and will accept whatever fate comes to them if they invest in a coin that becomes successful, invest in a coin that becomes a failure, invest in a rug, or invest in something that doesn't really move at all. Most people are smart enough to make that decision on their own and live with whatever consequences they are, whether they be bad or good. So I think that's a massive, massive problem, especially if other countries do pretty much the same thing and limit buys on accounts of people that don't have money. That I think it's a very, very bad thing. Can this be a good thing? So let's talk about some positives with this. There's other news that I do want to touch on. This is something that actually happened in the U.S. with the Coinbase's trusts rule with PayPal. This is another way that they're going to be tracking crypto, but we'll talk about that a little bit later as long as I don't forget. But let's talk about how can this over-regulation be a good thing? So like I said, I do think that other countries are going to follow suit and make similar rules, maybe not as draconian as what we're seeing with Canada right now. But I do believe that even if we see something similar to that, I think that crypto will be accepted in retail a lot more, because it's going to be a lot harder for you to buy coins outside of the curated lists that the government gives you. And I do think that what the governments are trying to do is essentially turn crypto into the stock market, into a separate version of the stock market. Because in the stock market, it's pretty much set up that way. If you're not an accredited investor, you can't buy the majority of stocks. You can't buy these startup stocks that have a really, really cool future. You can do all the research you want on them, but if you're not an accredited investor, you can't really touch those until after they've gone up significantly in price and people have, the rich people have bought a huge amount of those shares at an early point. And the rich get richer while the poor kind of have to deal with small gains from buying the stock a little bit later when it's available to the public, if it's available to the public. I think that cryptos will be in the same point 5 to 10 years from now, where you have your government list of accredited cryptos for people to buy into. Maybe it's going to be way more than that 4 that's listed for Canada right now. And the positive for that is you can have a lot more just companies investing in crypto, and we will probably see like this is 8 market cap right here. So this is all of the assets, companies, ETFs, cryptos, and metals ranked in terms of market cap. And you can see here the top 100 companies or stocks in general have a market cap of over $130 billion, which is insane. If we compare that to cryptocurrency, the only cryptocurrencies with a market cap of over $100 billion are Bitcoin and Ethereum. And even at all-time high levels, there is only a few that broke the $100 billion cap. So I think that with more regulation, with these hardcore regulation that won't be good for little people, I think that we'll probably get to a point where cryptos, the top 100 cryptos, will be at $100 billion for each cryptocurrency that you're seeing here in the top 100. Now, obviously, a lot of these will fall off the map, and if the regulation is pushed hard, most of your garbage coins will be total garbage. I mean, nobody will be buying them. Meme coins will be non-existent. And I think that will be sort of a good thing. Cleaning up, sweeping up all of the garbage that's in crypto right now is something that I do welcome. And really just chomping down this 12,921 coins down to maybe a top 300 actual cryptocurrencies that are doing actual things will be a good thing. Now, the downside of that, there are people who are living in their mom's basement, just for an analogy's sake, coding and coming up with cool projects. Those people probably will not be able to do that anymore. So it is probably going to stunt creativity a little bit because of the regulatory requirements that I believe will be in place to even create a cryptocurrency and put it out there in the general public. I do think there will still be garbage coins, crap coins out there because of, the decentralized nature of cryptocurrency and countries not regulating this, but I don't think they'll be accessible. I think they won't be popular basically at all. So that is my take on where crypto is going in the next 5 to 10 years with regulation like this. This is pretty severe, and I really do I know that other governments are looking at this and saying, well, how can we do this to our country? But I really do hope that when the governments decide that how they're going to regulate, they are more understanding and don't have things on a 4-year lag when they do come up with the regulations and restrictions for purchasing cryptocurrencies. And I really don't, I hate the fact that the government's trying to protect our money from us. I do understand when you have your cryptos like Terra Luna that just completely and totally crashes and you lose 100% of everything. And you have scams that come out like BitConnect and SafeMoon, where you have new people coming in and putting in a lot of money and losing everything. But I mean, the same case can be said for the stock market. So it can't be regulated just that much. I really am super against the government coming in and saying what you can and can't spend your money on in the crypto world. But I do think it's coming to that. And this is the last thing that I'll mention here. This travel rules. This is PayPal has joined Coinbase's Trust Network. This is just another way, again, like I talked about earlier, for companies to communicate with each other. If you're sending this, I'm going to summarize this. If you're sending more than $1,000 of crypto from one platform to another, they're going to report that information. It's going to be sent out to the SEC or to whoever, what they say here, the travel rule to the FATF, to make sure that you're not money laundering. And I understand that entirely. They don't want to promote money laundering or terrorism or anything like that, but it does heavily impact your security. So crypto, I think there's going to be a point in the future where you can't have an anonymous address. You can't have a Bitcoin or an Ethereum address that's not attached to you specifically. Your name, your address, your account number, something like that. They all have to be accounted for in some sort of database. I think that is an unavoidable inevitability for crypto. I know that crypto is supposed to be anonymous, but as we step into this regulated world, I really just don't foresee countries saying, yeah, do whatever you want. They're gonna want to control it hard, and that's what I fear. I fear that they're gonna take all of the necessary steps to control the crap out of crypto, like what Canada did with limiting crypto to just basically 4 currencies, and maybe open things up from there. But I hope they take a different approach as opposed to just biting the entire thing. So that is everything for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And again, if you guys want to hear more about this kind of stuff, let me know about that as well. That is everything for today, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're not a Patreon, consider becoming a patron to get access to my videos 2 to 3 days early. Sometimes I'm going to put out early calls for the cryptos that we are able to purchase in this current moment. And yeah, catch you in the next one, guys. Peace out.